exchange orgasms. I want us to exchange orgasms. You got to put a manipulative time waster in a position where she is forced to do one or two things.
Yep.
Which is either fully reciprocate your desires, interests, and intentions, or fully reject.
Yep.
That's the thing about manipulative time wasters. They don't want to do either one of those.
Facts.
They don't want to reciprocate, and they don't want to reject, because if they reject you, they can't exploit you. How can they exploit you if they reject you?
Yep. And a lot of guys, what a lot of guys will do is they'll sit there and they'll chase after the chick. You know what I'm saying? They'll just be chasing after the chick like on some cartoon stuff. And the reality is, like, she's banking on you doing that and not knowing your worth. You know what I mean? Like, she's banking on you just giving her that free attention or whatever. And here's the thing: when you give that free attention, she automatically knows you're a lower value guy, because you're giving by virtue of you giving your attention away for free. That already implies that you don't have other women lined up. Because if you had other women lined up, you would not tolerate that. Because at the end of the day, guys, you got to understand, when a girl just wastes your time and puts you in the friend zone, she's got to put some respect on your written name, bro. And it's just like, a lot of guys don't respect themselves. You know what I mean? They just sit there and, like, it's just like a chick that gives up sex easily. Like, you're not going to respect her, right? So it's the same way, just like Alan was talking about. So I agree, man. Like, my thing is, when I get a girl's number, I'm trying to go on a date immediately, because you're basically, shit testing her, letting her know, hey, are you really down or not? And if she doesn't want to meet you on the date, already she's a time waster. So I agree 1,000% on that one, especially nowadays, Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I there's a point in my Mo One audiobook where I use the analogy of celebrities. I say, what is one of the number one things that separates celebrities from non-celebrities? Mm-hmm. Is it their looks? I said, you could say in some cases, but not necessarily. Is it their talent? Yeah, in a lot of cases, celebrities, there are highly talented celebrities, but we all know there's some celebrities that are not that talented. But one thing celebrities usually do, different than the average person, is they make it hard as hell for people to share their company. They don't give away their social companionship for free.
Facts.
Like, I was reading an article where Jennifer Lopez, years ago, when people would invite her to certain parties, she would say, okay, pay me $10,000. And she said, people would be like, what?
Yeah.
But she was like, that's what, if you want me at your party, pay me $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
To value their time.
That's how you got to do. I'll read the super chats real quick. Be here with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you. What's your take on LMR, last minute resistance, and setting up a second day after you didn't close on the first due to LMR? We will answer this in the Q&A, guys. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. So hold your questions tight to the end, guys. And then we got another super chat from my boy, Fresh Prince CEO. Shout out to the panel, Myron. Thanks for having ARC OG in the game, dropping gems. Yeah, guys, class is in session right now. You guys are definitely, get the notebooks out, because ARC is giving some heavy game right now. And I'll say this, Alan. A lot of guys, I always say, the litmus test is this: would the girl act like this if she was with Future or Drake, right? Like, there's some of the top rappers nowadays. And if the answer is no, then you need to make it yes. And you need to become high value to the point that she cannot afford to miss out on you. And she needs to know that there's consequences for her not following your program. And that consequence is retraction of attention and getting basically kicked out of your life. Because here's the thing with, there's this like IG chick that, like, she basically does videos on how to, like, get rappers. Her name is Selena Powell. And she made a YouTube video on, like, how to slide into rappers' DMs. It's hilarious, because she says, oh, when you show up to this hotel, you better be about it, because they're going to kick you out if you don't put out. And I found that hilarious, because just like you said with the celebrities, they respect their time. They know that they're high value. So they're not going to tolerate a chick trying to sit there and leverage sex against them for some kind of compliance when they have all the options. So guys got to walk around. I don't want to say act like a rapper, you're a celebrity, but you need to hold yourself to that same standard with women, and you're going to notice that you're not going to get your time wasted, So you got another book out called Ooh, Say It Again, Mastering the Art of Verbal Seduction and Kinky Erotic Talk, Dirty Talk. In that book, you talk about how women's social programming and cultural conditioning affects their view of sex, and particularly their view of short-term, non-monogamous casual sex. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for the guys? Because I think a lot of guys have this notion that women are, sugar and spice and everything nice. And, we got ARC here to bring the people to school. So,
man, Myron, I first got to give you props, man. Your production value, man.
Trying to keep the entertainment value high, man. You got to slap these guys up a little bit, Alan. Smack them into reality, man. So
this is highly entertaining. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm a reference for at least the third time, my 5 archetypes.
Mhm.
And you can say Mo One is like my Mo One book sets the overall framework for the direct approach.
Mhm.
But then Who Said Again specifically touches on two of those archetypes, which is the wholesome pretender and erotic hypocrite, and possibility of sex focuses on the manipulative time waster. Now, wholesome pretender, for those not familiar who haven't read my books, who may be in the chat room not familiar with my books, here's the difference between a wholesome pretender is a woman that deep down she's down to engage in episodes of casual sex with a guy, but her mother and or father or other people who are influential in her life have told her, let's say her name is Rebecca, they've told her from the time she's a preteen, Rebecca, be a good girl.
Mhm.
Be a good girl. Don't ever allow yourself to get a reputation as a whore or a slut. Be a good girl. Be a good girl. So she hears this like 1,000 times. Be a good girl. Starting with the age of say 11 and 12. Be a good girl. Be a good girl. So let's say Rebecca meets Myron.
Mhm.
She might, her biological, I always use the metaphor of, if you've seen in cartoons, they'll have a little angel on the right shoulder and a
Yeah.
little
Yeah, and the devil.
commonly used metaphor. So here's what usually happens with a wholesome pretending erotic hypocrite. Rebecca meets Myron, and the little devil said, I like him. He's handsome. He seems smooth and seductive. I want to give him some. And then this voice says, oh, no, 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 no. Rebecca, remember what your mother and father said. You're a good girl.
Yep. He ain't taking you to dinner yet. He ain't spent no money on you. Don't do it.
You want to get him to be your boyfriend. You understand? You want to get, and she says, oh, really? Yeah, I guess. But then this voice comes back in. No, girl, shit. I want him to tear this pussy up. I want him to slap my ass and pull my hair. Well, he know what he's doing. I want him to do that. And so I explained in my book, Who Said Again, I call it an internal conflict.
Mhm.
Now that plays out in real time is while they're having that internal conflict in their mind, how it play out is a wholesome pretender be like, oh my God, Myron, what do you think I am? Some kind of hoe or
Yeah.
I'm a good girl. I only like to have sex with a man who cares about me. That's my boyfriend.
Yep. Exactly.
And then now the erotic hypocrite has the same basis as the wholesome pretender, but much more. Erotic hypocrite, not only does she have that same internal conflict dynamic going on, but she's more pretentious, she's more materialistic, and she's more antagonistic. So
Mhm.
whereas a wholesome pretender will give you what I call like a mild type, soft type resistance, like, oh, I'm not a slut.
It's like, haha, stop. Something like that.
Hypocrite is gonna say something, and I hate to generalize, but particularly if she black, she gonna be like, "What?
Yeah.
I ain't no goddamn hoe. You better come correct. You
Yeah.
know, you don't be disrespecting me like that. I ain't no damn slut.
Yeah.
What's wrong with your home training? I ain't no damn hoe." And see, the mistake a lot of guys make with the erotic hypocrite, they'll say, "Oh shit." They'll think she's rejecting me right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's humiliating me. So they'll just back off. But see, right then, when you back off, she knows that you just a no backbone beta male.
Yeah. Facts. Like girls will always say, like, man, I saw that I was dating a stripper for a band. She tried to tell me, oh, I haven't had sex in 2 years. And I was just like,
the lie detector determined that was a lie.
like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna be out here trying to really fool you, man. And then I ended up closing that night. But it's like if I had sat there and like believed her, I was like, no, man, like women are always gonna try to sell purity. They're purity dealers, men are success dealers. And it's basically a battle between the two genders to get the commodity from the other without exerting their resource. AK women are going to leverage their sex to get your attention, and you're going to try to leverage, your attention to get sex. But 9 out of 10 times, most guys buy the purity and then they get fleeced. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's an excellent point. And with the two types right there.
Yeah. So those two. So yeah, the formal term for women like that, and I use this term a lot, is sexually duplicitous. If you never heard that, that's what a sexually duplicitous woman simply means a woman that always publicly, as Myron just said, wants to sell that idea that she's pure, wholesome, strictly monogamy oriented, prudish or semi prudish. But behind closed doors, if the right man has the right conversation skills, the right verbal seduction skills, the right erotic dirty talk skills, he gonna get that pussy.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, man. You and that's where you see what you're made of. And if a girl goes out on a date with you, like she's basically gonna, depending on how you act, she's gonna size you up, and then she's gonna dispense whatever persona is gonna help her win to get what she wants. So, for example, if she goes out with you and you're clearly a sucker, she's like, "Oh, and this guy has money too. All right, I'm gonna go on a couple dates with him. Let me, extract as many resources and time as I can." And before like by the third, fourth, fifth date, when she knows that you're probably expecting some kind of sex, that's when she's gonna start flaking. She's gonna start responding to your phone calls, your text messages, whatever it may be, and she's gonna leave you on scene. But if you go on a date with her and it's very obvious that you're like, no, I don't like, I'm not, this is your one chance, baby. You know what I'm saying? Then she's gonna be more apt to do it. Girls always, as Rolls Masi says, shout out to him. Women make rules for betas and break them for alphas, or a man that she terms as high value. So, yeah. So, okay. So, Alan, I will say this, man. You recently got married like almost 2 months ago now.
Yep.
Congrats on that, man. And you're about to be a father.
Yep.
So obviously mode 1 has worked. I guess that's that. All you guys want to say, oh, I need some receipts. I think that's a pretty clear receipt there, guys. So, what are your thoughts on marriage in the 21st century? Obviously, here in the sphere, everyone hates marriage. I mean, everyone's against it, which with good reason. It is set up for men to fail. But what are your thoughts on it? And, congrats on everything, by the way.
Well, this allowed me to touch on the fourth of my books, because we touched on Mode 1 and Who Said Again and Possibly Sex. And I have another book called The Beta Male Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting about that book, though, some guys who didn't read it thoroughly, they look at what I've recently done as a contradiction. They've been like, literally just earlier today, I had a guy say, Alan, I'm happy that you're married. I'm happy for you and your wife. But man, like, didn't you contradict yourself? I could have swore your book, The Beta Male Revolution, because the subtitle of The Beta Male Revolution is why many men in today's society are not getting married.
Okay.
I took that to mean that there's no sentence in the book where I say don't get married. What I say is, I say some guys shouldn't. So I do say that there's some guys, mainly guys you just mentioned about alpha versus beta.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a guy who's honestly a beta male, no backbone, you're inclined to let women run all over you, take advantage, disrespect you, you shouldn't get married, because you're going. That number one, the marriage is going to end in divorce. You're going to get devastated. You're going to get financially raped. All that shit. You're going to get
use frame immediately.
All of that. So until you get to a point where you're a top-notch alpha male with strong backbone, and a woman is going to follow it to you, have the utmost respect for you, then you shouldn't even be thinking about marriage, because it just wouldn't be a good deal. But the main point I make in that book, though, is that it's kind of like somewhat of a brief history book. I talk about how everything that happened between roughly 1960 and 1974 changed the dating landscape to what we see today. Because before the 1960s, marriage is what really all dating centered around. All dating centered around, like my mother and father and grandmother and grandfather's generation, everything was about finding your wife and husband. That's what dating was all.
The nuclear family.
Yeah. And then what happened was, I'm trying not to get you late, but
no, go for it. I'm firing up the phone lines, man. You guys got to hear this.
The first thing that happened, there's four major things that happened in that period, between 1960 and 1974. 1960, introduction of the birth control pill. What did that mean? Women didn't feel scared to fuck outside the context of marriage. Number two, second wave of feminism. Women fought for their own, the right to earn their own money. And if women can earn their own money, guess what that gives them? They don't have to marry a guy that they're not attracted to. They ain't got to worry, because, a lot of women were marrying guys that they really didn't find physically attractive or sexually appealing, simply because that guy, it was in a position to pay their bills. But if women can earn their own money, they can say, well, shit, I ain't got to fuck that unattractive guy and get married to him. I can make my own money and go over there and fuck Myron if I want to. So there you go. Third thing that happened was called the free love movement / sexual revolution. That's when the first time a lot of high percentage of gays and lesbians start coming out of the closet, and a lot of people start embracing casual sex and premarital sex in general. And then finally, 74, Roe versus Wade, the legalization of abortion.
Yes.
So what did all that result in real oversimplified terms? Women, the stigma associated with engaging in sex outside the context of marriage diminished greatly, if not was flat out eliminated.
See, it's gone with OnlyFans and the way the marketplace is now. Like like girls are actually, I would argue women are encouraged to be promiscuous in 2020 nowadays. They can monetize it openly with OnlyFans. There's a chick that made like $2 million like last week. Like it's
I heard about that.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and I've dated a few like girls that have OnlyFans, models, strippers, whatever it may be, and these women are 100% monetizing on their sexuality, which I'm not going to knock them for. But I agree with you, Alan. Like all those things you mentioned, basically created the perfect storm for women to be able to monetize on their looks, their appeal, and quite frankly, like there's really no need for that male provisioning anymore. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead. I just thought that was a really good point you brought up.
Here's what happened. I talk about in the book, there's two main delineations that we always talk about. On the male end is the delineation between alpha males and beta males. On the female end, between good girls and sluts. Here's what happened. It almost happened in reverse. Mm-hmm. Before that period between 1960 and 1974, the delineation between alpha males and beta males, you could say, was like this. Start with the mid-70s, it's become like this. Then on the flip side, for women, the delineation between good girls and sluts was like this, but now starting with 1975 up until now, it's become like this.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, and you just see it when you analyze all the things that are challenging about the dating landscape, that are confusing, that are frustrating. You can all trace it back to what happened between 1960 and 1974. And again, one of the biggest things is because women have their own money and there's no stigma on top of that, they can choose who they want to fuck and who they don't want to fuck very freely. A lot of guys, honestly, there's a certain percentage of guys in the society and in the manosphere who don't like that.
Yep.
That's your bitter guys.
That's the black pill guys that are mad about hypergamy.
Those guys who are always complaining, they don't like the fact that women have that free choice to choose who they want to fuck.
Yep.
But it's the reality of our life right now.
It is. And the days of arranged marriages or women like marrying a guy like out of necessity to have a provider, those days are done, man. Like women make their own money now. So you have to be like an apex male nowadays to be able to get like the abundance that you truly want, because the reality is women have more options than ever before. And I would say, they always say it's an 80-20 rule. 20% of the guys having sex with about 80% of the women. I would argue it's even a little less, somewhere between that 10 to 15% now, with the way how like a girl that lived in a farm, right? And like, let's say South Dakota, now she has access to like NFL players that will slide on her DMs, like Instagram has changed the game. Online dating has changed the game. There's also an emerging sugar daddy culture that's coming up where girls are on those sites more now than like, Tinder and Bumble. So, and women are making more money than than men in a lot of cities. So what has this done? It's destroyed the nuclear family, right? Like the marriages, divorce rates are high. Marriages are on the toilet. More single parent households, and this what Alan basically was saying is like the perfect storm that caused all this. So, and then now you add like the OnlyFans culture we have, and the sexual liberation, etc. And it's going to contribute to the degradation of the family unit. So, it is what it is. So going back with the questions, did you want to touch on anything else, Alan, before we get into the question?
Like one of the reasons I got married is because it was related to having children. I always wanted, and I had always told guys, so for those guys saying this was some kind of sudden spontaneous decision, I had told my followers for probably 15, 20 years, I said, if I met a woman that I thought was marriage material, and more importantly, thought was quality to raise one or more children of mine, that there was a good chance I would get married. At minimum, I said I would indefinitely cohabitate. But I believe I want my children to be raised in a 2-parent household.
Absolutely.
Here's my thing. I'm kind of right in the middle. I'm not one of those guys. You got some guys that will say all guys should get married.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that. On the flip side, you got some guys who say no man should get married. All men should stay confirmed bachelors.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I think it depends on the man. Again, a lot has to do with him, how much of a leader he is, how confident, how masculine he is. If he's able to lead his wife, he should have minimal problems.
Facts.
The
men have to be the leader. I always say it like if you let a woman lead you in the relationship, she's going to lead you, but to the end of the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. So,
and I'll say this too, Alan. I agree with you that if you are going to get married, it's going to be for a family. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, like a 2-parent household is optimal to raising a child. You need that masculine, you need that feminine energy. You need 2 parents. I mean, to be honest, you really need an extended family. Like if you truly want to like raise a child in a stable environment where you got the care of grandparents and, you know, aunts and uncles, you know, that makes it even better. But a nuclear family with 2 parents is definitely like required, man. And you look at like all the kids nowadays that have issues or whatever it may be, criminals, degenerates, drug addicts, etc., alcoholics, they all come from single parent households, man. So, you know, you definitely need 2 parents to truly be able to optimize. I'm not saying you're going to be a failure if you come from a single parent household, but your chances of becoming one significantly increase, especially when there's not a father in the house.
I say that in my book, The Betterment Revolution. You're right. I mean, there's always going to be exceptions, no doubt. There's always going to be exceptions. But by and large, man, it's just, I will make the strong argument. It is much more beneficial for a child to be raised in a 2-parent. I wouldn't be the same person, man, if I didn't have my father's presence and my mother. They both contributed to who I am. Because for me, like my father, and I think most fathers operate like this, if I had to divide their roles, my father was the one who first enlightened me on the harsh realities of life.
Yes.
He's the one who said, son, life ain't going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard as fuck.
Yep.
And I'm going to do whatever I can to prepare you for when you're out there on your own, because life is a bitch. And then on the flip side, when you do run into your challenges and obstacles and episodes of adversity, your mother is the one who kind of nurtures you and says,
okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, don't dwell on this.
Yeah.
Don't become negative.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. You know,
yeah. Should give you some milk.
So you know, I needed both of that.
Yeah.
I needed that nurturer, and I needed that guy who was going to give me the harsh realities. And my feeling is most, if not all, children need that.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
And I'll say this because I came from a 2-parent household too. My parents are from Sudan. You know, I grew up in a Muslim household, and my dad was a leader. My mom followed. And the thing is, guys, is that I always say dads keep sons out of jail and daughters off stripper poles, because your dad is the, you know what I mean? Like your dad is the consequence of your mess ups. And the beauty about it is that if your father is doing it right, he's going to protect you from letting the system be the reinforcement of your bad behavior. You know what I mean? He's going to basically punish you right away when you're young so that you don't have to go through the jail system and permanently ruin your life. You know what I mean? That's what the father is there for, you know, to give you those harsh realities while you're still young and impressionable and help you become a better man or a better woman, whatever it may be, so that outside doesn't have to do it for you, you know. And I always say that's the father's role, man, you know, because me and my dad didn't get close until I became like an adult. But like now looking back, I'm happy that he used to whoop on me and everything like that anytime I did something stupid, because basically I learned from a young age there are consequences to doing things incorrectly, which a lot of people don't, especially in this world nowadays. All these young people, you know, I'm 30 myself, and you know, a lot of young guys my age are like, they don't deal with consequences, and then they end up like, why am I a failure? Why am I not getting girls? Oh, why am I fat? Blah blah blah. Living in instant gratification society, you know, and that's the problem.
You hit everything on the head, Myron. Props to you, because I just want to simply say that. See, that's one of the differences between being an adolescent and an adult. See, the great thing is when you're a child or a teenager, you get a chance to make a lot of mistakes, and who gets to cover your mistakes? Your parents.
Yep.
Once you turn 18, you know, as Myron just said, once you make mistakes, there's constant incorrect choices, incorrect decisions. There's consequences and repercussions to that shit.
Yep.
If your parents have not prepared you for that, to understand that, then they fail. And that's why you got so many fucked up adults.
Yep.
They among other things, they just simply didn't understand that, hey, you make this bad choice, like he said, you either that reminds me, Chris Rock had a similar comment to what you said. I love it. You said role fathers keep the sons out of jail and the daughters off the pole. Chris Rock, he had a comedic bit about half of that, the female part, talking about raising daughters because he has 2 daughters. And I'm gonna let y'all know the number one job of a father of daughters is to keep your daughters off the pole.
Yep. Facts, man. No guy wants to look be on browsers and be like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? That's like the worst, bro. That's just you got to hold the L on that one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll get into the questions, guys. Hey, guys, the phone lines are up 515-605-9740. You can get on with one of the best world dating coaches right here, Alan Roger Curry, the legendary ARC. And we'll go through the super chats. We got a couple questions here. So B asks, what's your take on LMR last minute resistance for those joining us and setting up second date after you didn't close on the first date due to last minute resistance?
Well, this is probably going to be the part of this interview where I'm going to blow a lot of guys' minds, where I get a lot of pushback.
Here we go.
Particularly from another dating coach that the guy Josh alluded to. Believe it or not, I don't go on dates for casual sex at all. At all. I'm not saying if that works for you, but me, I don't like. I have a video on my channel that's called that. I don't go on dates for short-term casual sex. Now, if I'm looking at a woman as long-term girlfriend material or future wife material, I'm going on dates. But here's my routine. I meet women, and either while I'm still in their presence. Now, I will say I've gotten to a level over the years where I'm really good at talking dirty to women. That's one of the things I work with clients. So I just simply start talking dirty to them, either in person or if we exchange numbers, start with that first phone conversation. I'll persuade them to start playing with their pussy.
Boom.
And I'm just going to be honest. Once I do that, women will just usually be like, okay, come on over.
That was easy.
Right away.
I don't have to take them to like the 4 or 5 star restaurant on a Thursday night or Friday night or Saturday night. I usually do just the opposite. If anything, I'll usually fuck a woman and then take her to lunch or dinner after we fuck.
That's
that. But
that.
Now, here's one thing I have that you could say almost falls close to being a date. If I met a woman online, some women will be like, well, I want to meet up with you.
Yep.
See if, if nothing else, they'll say that I want to see that you're not a weirdo or a creep.
Yeah.
So I might meet up with them, but it won't really involve like me treating them to a free meal or none of that. And but yeah, generally speaking, I don't go on dates. What I call like a formal date, like a dinner date, lunch date. I don't do that for casual sex.
Yeah.
I just believe in talking dirty to women, getting their pussy wet, bring out their freak side, get them to expose it. Because see, here's my thing, and this is I'm not saying everybody has to adopt this, but see, when you want a relationship, that's because you plan on spending time with that woman both sexually and non-sexually. And so for me, a date is for me to find out from a woman what makes your non-sexual companionship worthwhile.
Yes.
I want to find out what aspects, why should I find your non-sexual companionship desirable, appealing, worth my time?
Got to make her earn it, man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll take her out on one date, not get the cheeks, and the next thing you know, they're going on
another one, and another one, and another one.
You know what I'm saying?
And another one.
A million dates. And it's like the girl is like, yo, like she's just like fleecing you for free meals and attention. You're not getting what you want. And then like she's going to know when to cut it off because you're going to expect something. So you guys got to make her qualify first so she actually values it. Then when you take her on a date and do all these things, it's going to be worth more because she actually, earned it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with that one. We got another question here. Kyle won with the $2 super chat. Thank you for that, brother. How do you even approach if that's not attention?
Well, when I say no free attention, that's not synonymous with don't interact with women.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you know, as a man, when you're investing a considerable amount of time with women just engaged in, non-beneficial, non-productive conversation. Now, obviously, you gotta somehow let a woman know, if nothing else, you gotta let her know what your desires, interests, and intentions are for her to either reciprocate or reject. So at minimum, you gotta be willing to invest the time it takes to verbally communicate to a woman what your desires, interests, and intentions are. So I'm not saying, when I say no free attention, I'm not saying that means, ignore women completely or don't approach women completely. Yeah, you want to approach women, again, if nothing else, just to let them know why you want to ultimately share their company. But what I'm telling you, I'm gonna try to make this quick. Here's a quick story that illustrates what I'm talking about. There's a story I've told on my channel where I always forget the country. It wasn't here in the United States. It was a guy. He was either Switzerland, Denmark, or the Netherlands. One of those three. And he told me this story. This is about 4 or 5 years ago, where he had a loft mate, what we would call a roommate here in the States. He had a loft mate, and his loft mate and his loft mate's friend went out to a club, and first they asked him to come to the club with him. And he actually brought me up. He said, no, I don't want to go to the club because I'm all about Alan Roger Curry's Mode 1 approach, and I feel like it's going to be nothing but manipulative time wasters there.
Fact.
He said, they were like, fuck Alan Roger Curry. He don't know what he's talking about. He sucks. Fuck him. So they go to the club. They bring back these two women. Mm-hmm. And they take them into the main living space of their loft. And after about an hour, somewhere between an hour to hour and a half of them talking to these women, mm-hmm. the guy who followed me, he said, he gestured for his love man. He's basically like, what are you doing? And the guy was like, what? He said, dude, you engaging in a bunch of bullshit small talk, man. And the guy criticized him again. He said, see, you listen to that Alan Roger Curry, man. We're going to be in there, man. We just stay the course. We're going to be in there.
Yeah, so many guys. Stupid.
So at one point, one of the women comes looking for the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And the guy was following me. He says, hey, I'm just going to be straightforward with you. When you get bored, you probably bored already. Why don't you just come to my room? And she said, why would I want to come to your room? He said, so I can fuck you and make you feel good. And he said, she was like, what? What did you say to me? Yep. Here's the thing that throws a lot of guys off. She initially had an adverse reaction. She was like, what? I don't believe you said that to me. That's totally inappropriate. And he's like, hey, I told you what I told you.
Yep.
So then she went back. Then the loft mate came and admonished him for like 5 minutes about saying that. Anyway, he talks, the loft mate and the friend talked to these women for another hour. Another hour. Told him, he said it had to be about minimum 2.5 hours.
Wow.
He talking to these women. So then they finally, the two women said, we have to leave. So they're about to leave. But then here's when things got interesting. Right before they're about to leave, the woman who initially, remember that, keyword initially was offended. Mm-hmm. She said, is your loft mate still in his bedroom? And the guy was like, yeah. Right. He said, oh, I just wanted to say something to her real quick. Mm-hmm. So the guy who followed me said she came in his room. She knocked on the door, came in his room. And she said, I'm intrigued. Do you talk to all women that way? He said, what does it matter? What does it matter how I talk to other women? I just, because I always told guys, say, don't worry about my interaction with other women.
Yeah, setting it up.
So she said, oh, I was just curious. So then they called a cab, then they left. But then 5 minutes later, that same woman came back. And the love mate thought she was coming back for him. And she said, no, actually, I want to see your friend. And this long story short, he ended up fucking the woman.
Oh.
He ended up fucking the woman. And he didn't spend all that time. His love mate and friend, they spent 2.5 hours. And they did not even a hand job.
Bro, that goes to show right there, man, the importance of being direct, guys, and not giving out your free attention, man. Damn, that's That right there is proof in the pudding, guys. We got another question here, Alan. Ray Lamont. Alan, if you talk about sex when you first meet a woman and she declines to talk about sex, would you continue to talk to her? And guys, we got the phone lines open. I know 818 called in earlier. I'm going to get to you after this super chat, 818. So stay on the line. I see you here. After Alan answers this question, go ahead, Alan. I bet.
For me, it would depend on how she presented her decline to talk about sex. If she was very, let's say she was very pleasant about it, she was like, oh yeah, they don't know, they don't want to talk about sex, then I'm gonna probe her. I'm gonna say why. If nothing else, I'm just simply asking. I'm gonna say why.
Yep.
Why do you feel uncomfortable talking about sex? And I want to probe her to see where her mind is at, and if I can identify certain things, I'm gonna know how to honestly use my persuasive charm to turn that around, because I've had a lot of women who started off saying that, just that. Yep. Now, if a woman was real adamant, like, I don't want to talk about sex.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, have a good day.
Exactly. Like you just move on. It's sales, guys. Like when an objection comes in, you basically just handle the objection and continue to build DHV and build the compliance. And if she doesn't comply, then, you got to be able to discern when you got to cut your losses and go to another girl. But yeah, man, it's all compliance and you just being intelligent about looking at body language, seeing a reasonable objection, just like Alan said, where it's like, well, I don't know. And she's like just playing hard to get. Then you continue on. But, it all comes down to social calibration. So we got a caller on the line here. 818, I'm going to get him on the line right now. Oh, he just hung up. Okay, never mind, 818. Just when I was going to call on you.
That's California. I know 818.
Yeah, I think that's California. Ray Lamont here with the $2.99 super sticker. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. Let's see here. We had a couple other questions here. The phone lines are open, guys. So call in. Let's see. Your behavior is. Oh, shout out to Red Pill Chauvinist, man. He's in here. I see you, brother. Thank you for the support, my man. Shout out to the whole team out there. Let's see. There was a bunch of. Did I lose some of these questions? I might have lost some. But let's see. Oh, okay. We got 818 back on the line, so I will connect him right now. 818, man. You're live with.
Hey, ARC. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I think Cam, what's up, dude?
Myron, can you hear me? Because it's a little bit staticky right now from my end. I don't know if you guys can hear me clearly.
No, we got you pretty clear. Alan, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, we got you, brother. You're on.
Excellent. Thank you. So, ARC, how are you doing, man? I've purchased all your books, and we've actually spoken before on your Patreon page. Oh. And I just want to say thank you for going on Myron's page as well. And Myron, this is Cameron from LA, man. How are you?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Okay, so ARC, I got a question for you, man. So, and Myron, please chime in on this as well. There's a girl that I've been seeing for like the last few weeks. Her non-sexual companionship is actually pretty on point. She, based on one of the videos, Alan, that you said, is that you rate it on a star level, like 1 to 5 stars. I would give her, as of right now, 4-star rating on non-sexual companionship. Mm-hmm. Recently, we had we were having, like, in the middle of having sex, and I wanted to do a specific sex act with her. And it was, I'll just say, like, right here on the air, I wanted to, like, finish inside her, right? But it was going to be done through, like, a VJ. And she kind of just looked at me and was like, oh, I don't do that. And that turned me off a little bit. And I may be, like, particularly picky about this, but this is something that kind of, like, it elevates the experience for me. But she's been compliant in almost, like, everything else that I want to do with her. I guess, because she checks the boxes for non-sexual companionship, Alan, I was wondering, is this something that I should look into as, like, I should just maybe, like, not show as much attention as I used to, or should I continually pursue seeing her because her non-sexual companionship is good, and also the fact that I'm interested in potential monogamy with her? Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense, but I'll say this. I don't mean to be pessimistic, but if you're looking at this woman as your long-term companion, girlfriend, transitioning, and possibly a fiance and then a wife, then that's already a red flag, because it sounds like you enjoy coming in women's mouth when they sucking you off, and that's something that's a total turn off. And how that's going to play out in the future is that you're gonna become increasingly frustrated by that, and you're gonna start seeking out side pieces. And if you marry, you're gonna start seeking out mistresses to satisfy that need. And that's when things are gonna get messy unless you open a relationship up and have a polyamorous relationship and you tell her up front, which would be my recommendation, tell her up front that hey, well, if you're not gonna satisfy this need, I'm gonna have to have another lover who does.
Yo, let them know that again, bro. You cannot, yo, you cannot. When a woman does not comply with your sexual needs, she doesn't do what you want. You need to let her know that she's expendable right away, man. That's like Alan ARC is 100% on with that, Cam. And like, here's the thing: you don't have to do it overtly and be like, "Oh, I'm dealing with other chicks," but distance yourself a little bit. Start flirting with girls in front of her. Let her know that her position isn't locked. You know what I'm saying? Women, a girl's gonna respect. I always say this: women get in line when they know you have other women in line. And the reason why she's acting like this is because she's comfortable, bro. And last I heard, you should go listen to the song by Future, "Bitch Don't Get Too Comfortable," because that's real talk, man. You can't let these girls get comfortable because then when they know that they got you locked down, they're gonna start doing stupid shit. They're not gonna do what you want. They're not gonna, because they're still expecting you to be the man. They're still expecting you to pay for dates, hang out with them, give them that attention, but they're not gonna give you what you want. So that's fine. You don't have to force her to do anything, but you got to let her know that there's consequences for her not doing what you want. And what that means is retracting attention. So that's basically bad behavior, bro. So you basically got to like start retracting attention, talk to other girls, and let her know that she can't leverage her sexual access against you in return for some compliance. And at the end of the day, Cam, like you probably been dating this girl for a few months. You got to understand that all these girls,
she belongs to the streets,
unless proven otherwise, bro. So I would vet her for at least a year before even thinking about giving her an LTR, man. You know what I'm saying? But if she's doing stuff like this early on in the relationship, this is not good.
I agree, and my thoughts are aligned with what the gentlemen are saying as well. I just, excuse me, I wanted to get some validation on that, but I thought exactly the same, and I was like, based on what Alan's book on the possibility of sex, not that, she hasn't given it up to me yet, but like, I don't want to think like, oh, maybe later down the road, she'll give it to me if like, I just be a patient, good boy about it. Like, I was like, fuck that shit. And based on, Myron, what you mentioned on kind of losing attention for her and stuff, I did that. If you look on my Instagram, you see my stories. Like, it's obvious I want to date with another girl. Okay, I just posted a recent picture on my IG, and it's obvious. And she even liked my picture. So I'm like, okay. And and one of the most important things, Martin, you just said is that the whole comfort factor of it. Like, the moment I saw her, I saw her reaction where she said, "No, I'm not going to do it." I'm like, shit, I made this girl too comfortable with me. Yeah. She thinks I'm like, I'm only want to pursue monogamy with her, so now she can do whatever she wants. So that's what
when that happens, bro, when she starts not doing that stuff, alerts got to go in your head and you got to start making moves, man. But we got two other callers on the line. I know ARC is a very busy man. Kim, we'll catch you on the next one, brother, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ARC. Thank you, Myron.
No worries.
Hey, guys.
No worries. All right, we got 850 on the line, and then I got 206 on the line as well, and then we'll end the show because I don't want to take too much time here. ARC has been very generous with his time. 850, you're on the line with Myron Gaines and on the Gaines podcast with Alan Roger Curry. What is your question?
Hey, what's good, Myron? It's Chris from Wichita. How you doing, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Yeah, so I met this chick a few months ago, and we shredded for like a month straight, and everything's going good. So I figured, all right, well, let me start inviting her out places that I'm going, and she started flaking. So I just cut my attention. Mm-hmm. Well, when she noticed that I wasn't paying her attention anymore, she would try to hit me up, and for non-sexual attention. I just basically told her no, it's not that kind of party, and she got upset because she figured I just wanted her for sex. And which I reminded her, I was like, well, keep in mind that I haven't been invited out to places, you kept flaking, so what do I need to talk to you for? So fast forward a few months later, I hit her up and said, hey, come over right now. And she comes over. And I did my thing with her. She leaves. And so then she hits me up a week later talking about, well, hey, how come you don't want to take me out or anywhere? So if Myron, if you were in a situation, you and ARC, how exactly would you kind of come at her? Would you be direct, or would you just kind of say, like, look, like, I tried this and it didn't work?
Well, my first thing would be it depends on the nature of the relationship. I mean, what is she to you? Is she like girlfriend material, fuck buddy material? What is she?
Just fuck buddy material.
Oh, well, fuck buddy material. Then yeah, you need to hang out with her non-sexually for. I did a Patreon exclusive video for my followers talking about that. I said when a woman's strictly a fuck buddy, you don't owe them no obligation to spend no significant amount of time with them non-sexually, if any time non-sexually. That's basically what a fuck buddy is. I don't think a lot of guys understand that. A fuck buddy is a woman that like 90% of your time you spend with them is just spent fucking. Once you start spending a significant amount of time with a woman, both sexually and non-sexually, then you're talking about at maximum a girlfriend, if not a girlfriend, what's known as a polyamorous lover, or at minimum a friends with benefits partner, which is different. All three of those are different than a straight up fuck buddy. A fuck buddy, somebody you call, you say, hey, Linda, I'm horny. You horny? Come on over. I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you. She comes over, you fuck her, then you're like, okay, have a good weekend. Take it easy. Bye-bye. And so yeah, you should feel under no pressure or no obligation to be. Now, if you genuinely want to, you can go ahead, but don't allow her. Don't. Here's the thing: you want to always, as if you want to consider yourself an alpha male, you want to administer your program to women. You don't want to ever adhere to a woman's program.
Facts.
You set the terms and conditions. How many times you see each other per week, per month, the nature of the individual interactions, and so on and so on. That's you administering your program. And as Myron has touched on throughout this conversation, here's where your leverage to administer your program is that you either A, should have multiple options, and this might sound a little disingenuous, but if you don't, option B, and I tell guys, I'm all about upfront, straightforward honesty. But here's where I'll openly admit I endorse somewhat of a little white lie. I tell guys, if at the current state you don't have multiple options, carry yourself as if you do.
Boom.
Carry yourself as if you do.
Facts. You got it, bro. You gotta fake it. You can't let her try to, I say this, bro, with this chick.
No, fuck that bitch.
You know what I'm saying? Like she's already shown you that she's not reliable, or like that she's worth your commitment at all, because she's playing games with you. She was pulling your chain. As far as I'm concerned, bro, you're just getting this sweet revenge, man. So I agree with ARC on this. Like she's demoted for life to just F buddy, bro. I mean, what do you think, ARC? Should he? I mean, unless you want to upgrade her. You got that, caller?
Is he still there?
Yeah. Okay. Quick comment. Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, when it was going pretty good for a month, that's why I try to promote her. Like, all right, well, hey, you come out with me.
Oh, well, if you want to promote her, then that's one thing. Like, if you want to promote her, that's different. The main thing ARC is trying to let you know is that, like, she doesn't get promoted because she wants to. You do it because you want to, and she's got to earn it. That's what we're trying to say. Is like, it's got to be you. You don't let a chick ever pressure you into a relationship, ever.
Exactly. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, all right, man, we got another call on the line. I hope that helped, and we'll catch you on another one, next one, bro. Thank you for calling in. All right, so we got 206 on the line. 206, you're on the line with Myron Gaines and
hey, gentlemen.
Alan Roger Curry. What is your question, sir?
I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Good sound check real fast.
Yeah, we got you loud and clear. ARC, you got him?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, man.
What's up, Myron? It's Mickey, man. I just want to call and just say this. Hey, Alan, I've first kind of put on to you since 2013, back with Sasha Day Game, and a long while back when you were, kind of. Alan, I'm pretty good at phone sex myself, being dominant and assertive, not forceful. There's a difference, and that's important to understand. But I've been able to do this when there's more comfort, attraction, emotional impact, all of that. You go right into it. In mode one, I'm assuming you talk about the process, how you do this. Do you start off right away? Where can people learn about how to go about this? I'm assuming through the book. What insight can you give here now?
Well, the starting point is, I would say my book, Ooh, Say It Again. That's where I talk about verbal seduction and erotic dirty talk. And then I do, Skype and telephone consultations. I do one-on-one, face-to-face coaching. But here's what I was just saying in a nutshell. You heard me earlier in the conversation talk about how the vast majority of women are sexually duplicitous. There's only a small percentage of women in society that are either just bona fide, certified prudes, and on the flip side, just so open-minded, free-spirited, and sexually liberated that they just don't give a fuck what other members of society think. Those two groups of women are in the minority. The vast majority of women, and I explained this and I'll say it again, are in those shades of gray in the middle, where in simple terms, they're going to publicly try to give you the impression that they're the innocent, wholesome, prudish or semi-prudish, strictly monogamy-oriented good girl, but they got a kinky, freaky side. And how I operate is, in a matter of speaking, I treat 9 out of every 10 women I meet like they're actresses, like they're trying to give me a performance. And so you can say my starting point in my interaction with a lot of women is I'll kind of, if I'm face to face, I kind of give them a look like basically that says, that facade that good girl facade you're trying to pull off, that ain't gonna work on me. That might work on that guy over there and that guy over there. But with me, that ain't gonna work. I know you got a kinky side. I know you do.
Boom.
And if I'm on the phone, I pretty much do the same thing. If women say, well, I'm not that kind of girl, I'd basically be like, yeah, okay. And it doesn't snow in the wintertime. I'm like, you're not gonna pull that on me. I know you got a freaky side. And here's the thing: when you would think a lot of women would become offended and whatever, and someone would initially, keyword always, initially, like that woman in that story I told. They initially try to say, what are you saying? I'm not a son, I'm not a hoe. Fuck that. Once you persuade them to push their social programming and cultural conditioning to the side, if you got enough persuasive charm to do that, conversational skills to do that, you'll be surprised. Not only will they open up, but here's the most amazing thing. People know many of my stories I tell over the years. Some women will literally do like a 180. Like I've had women say, I met a woman at 10 o'clock at a party and I was mode 1, let's say mode 1 hardcore. Then from 10:05 to 10:15, that woman did nothing short of cursing me out. But then I didn't let it affect me. I didn't let her freaking out freak me out. I stayed cool, calm, and collected. And then by 10:55, that same woman who was cursing me out is now sucking my dick.
Boom.
Yeah, I just treat all women like they got that inner kinky freak. Now again, there's gonna be a small percentage of women you run into that I will say will be genuine, legitimate prudes. They deeply religious background, whatever. But most women in society are fake prudes.
Facts. They'll tell you, "Oh, I don't get down like that," and you just be like,
"Why the fuck you lying? You always lying."
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, remember, guys, women are purity dealers. Okay, they're gonna always try to sell you purity, and guess what? We're not buying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to my man Future.
She belongs to the streets
Until proven otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta move as if that she's doing her thing. Because the thing is, man, is that if she could pull the wool over your eyes, she will. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying go around and disrespect women and treat them bad and everything like that. All I am saying, though, is to go in with your eyes wide open and understand that, like, a lot of these girls are not going to be honest about their past. They're going to try to sell you some kind of some dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys try to sell success, women try to sell purity. And, you just got to be smart and understand that the average woman now, and there's studies to back this, that's 21 years old is having way more sex than the average male that's 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the reality, and that's how it is. So you just got to move accordingly. You got to adapt with the times.
And here's one more tip I give you. USA Today newspaper came out with an article. It's probably been a while now. It's been about 10 years. Guess what this article said women have replaced the traditional romantic novel with? They replaced it with highly explicit erotica novels. Let me repeat that. Women read erotica novels is like literary crack cocaine for most women. You saw it most prominently with 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
I remember quick story, 1 minute story. When I lived in LA, one time I was looking for a book on filmmaking and screenwriting. And I passed this one aisle and I see like 8, 9 women all in this little one corner. I'm like, shit. And most of them were, really attractive. So I go down, I'm like wondering why more than any other aisle are these women bunched up in this corner in this aisle. It was the erotica aisle. And I just was very frank. I was mowing. I said, so you ladies are reading these books that got your pussies dripping wet. And they just smiled, some blushed. You know how I could tell? Here's a tip. You say you want me to give a free tip. I talk about this, who said again, about certain body language tips. Here's one tip. You want to know how you can tell when a woman's pussy is starting to get wet? If she's sitting down, if she keeps crossing and uncrossing her legs, or if she's standing up, she keeps readjusting her legs. That's because I first learned this from an ex-girlfriend in college. She broke this down to me that I've known ever since. When a woman's pussy juices start dripping out of pussy, it goes, particularly if she's sitting down, it goes towards her anus and it makes her uncomfortable to sit still. So she's just going to keep adjusting and readjusting her legs. And when I was in that little aisle in that bookstore, all the women kept readjusting their legs. Their pussies were wet, reading those erotica novels.
Yo, caller, brother, you're getting classes in session, man. That's getting free game right now, man. We got the super chat right here, by the way, real quick. CHR Hawk 299. Thanks for taking my call. She's demoted for life. That's what I'm talking about, man. We're slowly helping guys out here, man. Don't let these girls fraud you, bro. So good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, ARC, we got one more call. You got time for one more?
Yeah, one more. I'll get that.
Okay. All right, Mickey, take it easy, brother. Did that help? Did that answer your question, Mickey?
Absolutely, man. Just to chime in for a second, Alan, man, I really appreciate it. After I saw, it was called the Direct, I think it was called the Direct Summit. After I saw you talk, I changed. I flipped the script, man, and I've gotten laid because of your thoughts. Because of that, I never knew this shit was possible. So thank you.
Good stuff, man. All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in. Call in on the next show, and thank you. All right, so we got one more caller, guys. We're going to end this thing. 636. You are on live with Myron Gaines and ARC on the Gaines podcast, my man. What is your name? Where are you from?
Hey, what's up, Myron? This is Santi.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
From Puerto Rico.
Hey, what's up, dude? Get okay.
All right. Yeah. What's up?
What's up, dude? How are you, man?
I want to ask Alan a quick.
Absolutely. That's why he's here. He's the guru.
Oh. Yep.
Wait, I'm sorry. His voice is
Yo. Hey, Santi, your phone is like cutting out. Like, can you just try to get to an area that's a little bit better with the reception? Sounds like you're underwater or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, talk now.
Come on.
Okay. He's fixing. Okay, all right, go ahead, talk. Can you talk?
Oh, you good?
Yeah, I think we got you now. Go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, great. So, Alan, at what age range would you recommend a guy considering or going into looking for women for a long-term relationship investment?
A long-term relationship or marriage, or both?
Girlfriend, marriage, both.
I don't have a particular age range for just a long-term, as they call them, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I think, plain and simply, you're going to meet some women in life that you just really are attracted to how they look, their sex appeal, and you just want to fuck them. But you know deep down they would bore you and or irritate you non-sexually. You don't want to get in a relationship with a woman like that. You just relegate those to fuck buddies. But if you do run across a woman that you genuinely enjoy spending time with, both sexually and non-sexually, then by all means, either at maximum, make that woman your girlfriend. If you don't want to be monogamous, there's what's known as polyamory.
Mhm.